this is Dr. Rachna Poor, consultant psychiatrist from Aurangabad. I work at Sati Mind Care in Samatnagar, Aurangabad, and I also am a consultant psychiatrist at Rahat Hospital, Harsul, Aurangabad. I think. So today I felt for today's live broadcast, we'll have an interesting topic, and that is about maternal mental health. As I had posted on my FB page and also on my personal wall, we will be talking about this because over last 10 years, approximately the same time around when I entered psychiatry, I believe many people, I have met so many people, women, and girls and colleagues, friends, and so many people troubled or overwhelmed by pregnancy, but it somehow goes unnoticed by the families. Why that happens, I don't know. I honestly feel like at least literate, educated families should have been more aware about the mental status of the mother. But many a times people come to me, even doctors for that matter, they come to me and tell me that, ma'am, I'm trying hard not to feel this way. I want to be excited about pregnancy. I want to be excited about the fact that I had a baby, but somehow I just don't get that thrill. And why is there no thrill? Am I not a good mom? Am I not doing things correctly? I just feel like not getting up, not picking up my baby, and not cuddling it or something. Am I abnormal? And many a times I have to tell them that no, there's nothing abnormal or normal the way you react to a certain pregnancy or delivery, well, event, because a human being can have a different range of emotions, different range of feelings to a particular event, and all of those, believe it or not, can be placed on a spectrum of normalcy to overt abnormalcy. So we will be learning in this video about what exactly is normal, what is not. So when we talk about this thing, suppose I'm only dealing with the legitimate pregnancies here, those which are planned and those which are for which you have actually dreamt of and you wanted that pregnancy, and those who are conceived within a wedlock. About the illegitimate ones or the accidental ones, let us deal in another video. So, what happens exactly when the news is given that you're pregnant? I have heard many stories about how people were, ecstatic and they were excited to the core and they didn't know how to go about it. And then suddenly, particularly girls, in our country, it seems like pregnancy is treated as a disease, or pregnancy is treated as something that is huge and it's scary, and you have to treat yourself like a princess, who walks on the bed of roses and who doesn't lift up weights, doesn't do any hectic work, and takes adequate rest, eats well, and that's it. Suddenly you're supposed to stop working, you're supposed to eat only vegetable, non-spicy things and nutritious things and something of that sort. Suddenly you're supposed to walk slowly, you're supposed to not take stress of anything, so everything has to be goody around you. But is that really possible? I was a doctor, and let me tell you from my own experience, I am a doctor, I'm sorry to say that, but let me tell you from my own experience that I was working in my pregnancy till 8th month, and it was never rose, unfortunately. It was definitely not terrible either because I had very nice people supporting me. But then I was constantly working. Rest was, yes, I did get the adequate rest, but it was not like I didn't walk at all, or I was in bed 24 hours, or I was not even, lifting up even half bucket of water. It was not like that, and I felt well throughout the pregnancy. So, is it really necessary? What are the things that are actually to be done, and those are absolutely essential? What are the things those have been hyped? So, if you are told that motherhood is blissful and you have to feel happy about it, then let me just tell you one thing. These people have probably not experienced it, or have been living in a glorified world wherein you have to glorify motherhood, otherwise it will be a sin. How can one not like the phase of pregnancy, is the common notion that we have. And many a times I come across people who actually don't feel that. I mean, who are, when told that they're pregnant, you actually feel a little happiness, or you might be a little shaken about how am I going to deal with it, how am I going to plan everything, I mean, how am I going to survive. And it is a little exciting, thrilling, scary. It is definitely a huge change. It is an event that is going to change your life, and so yes, it is very important. But then it is not exactly necessary for you to feel like you're in heaven or blissful. It's perfectly fine if you feel a little shaky in the beginning, particularly. And another thing is, if you're being told that you should not move, you should eat and eat and eat lots of ghee, lots of, high fat content and high this and that, then that is probably not true. If you want, you can consult a obstetrician or dietitian about how to go with pregnancy without gaining too much of weight, because too much weight gain will cause another problems. Too less will also be harmful. Let me tell you, good nutritious food is definitely recommended during the pregnancy, but not too much of nutrition as well. You're not supposed to gain like 40 kgs. That's not good for you either. Anyways, that's about the diet and everything. But as I said, this more or less all these things your family members know, or someone in the family who's senior elder can guide you through that. Eat this better, don't eat that, and so on. And anyhow, every pregnancy kind of causes a stir or an excitement. So everybody wants to help you out and everybody wants to do something for you. So I think on the diet part and on all other things, you're going to fare well. But what about your mood? What happens when you're going through the pregnancy to your mind? Are you constantly happy? Are you constantly feeling blessed that I have a life inside me? Do you actually get that feeling that, okay, I am creating a life? Wow, that's a blessing. Many a times it doesn't work that way, because pregnancy is also a physiological phase which causes many hormonal changes. So it's like your progesterone levels will be sky high because it has to maintain your pregnancy in uterus, and the baby will be secreting so many hormones that even the medical science hasn't actually figured out all of the chemicals that are being secreted. Your blood circulation is hyperdynamic, so you are constantly a little feeling a little uh, agitated or something. It could happen. You might be a little sweaty, you might be fatigued, tired and everything. And obviously, when as the pregnancy progresses, these mood fluctuations go on varying. So first trimester, or first 3 months, second 3 months, and third last 3 months. This is how we divide pregnancy in. And those trimesters can be a little challenging, because for the first 3 months, the crucial period of fetal development, you have to take care of your mood, of your mind, because if you are happy, the child is going to develop nicely. How does it work exactly? Because you see, our mind and body are connected. If you feel anxious, your heart rate will rise, you will feel sweaty, you will have you will feel like you might faint, you'll have dryness of mouth. So all these symptoms you experience because your mood, or you're scared of something, you're anxious of something. When the anxiety source goes away, you automatically calm down and you feel good, at peace. Now, if a simple thing as an anxiety attack can actually bother your body so much, imagine how much a pregnancy can, because there are so many things working together in a pregnancy. So definitely it is going to affect your mood, it is going to cause your mood fluctuations, it's going to give you a little anxiety, panic attack, because it's new, you don't know how to go with it. Even when we even being doctors, we didn't actually know how to go about it, because it was so uncharted territory for us. So we needed somebody to look up to give us some solutions. Okay, this happens, so my hair start falling, or my skin darkens, or my weight starts increasing and I can't fit in my older clothes. All those things are normal, they happen, and you have to adapt to these changes. Simultaneously, you have to deal with nausea, vomitings, morning sickness, and all those things in first 3 months. Second trimester is relatively a little calmer, wherein the baby has now fully developed, and yeah, the baby is started to grow even more, and you don't have much to worry about. No, not much of anxiety. So second trimester, most of the women fare well. Third trimester is the time when major problem starts, because we get anxious about how we are going to go through the labor part, how the baby is being born, and how whether the neonatologist will be there, whether the baby will breathe immediately, whether it will be a cesarean section or a normal labor, whether, if, but, and so on. So you'll imagine 10 scenarios wherein you have not prepared anything and you suddenly started contractions, or you have prepared everything but you couldn't reach hospital, or something of that sort. And somehow every sad or every traumatic story attracts your mind. You feel like, oh God, this shouldn't happen to me. Oh God, that shouldn't happen to my family. Will my baby be happy? Should I shop for the baby? Should I not? And all these questions just go round and round in your mind, and you're just puzzled, scared, excited, anxious, everything in single moment. And if you have the pressure of having the male baby or the female baby particularly, then the things even uh, get worse. What happens after birth immediately? Now, this is another change for your body. The body had conceived, had sustained a pregnancy for 9 months. Now it has delivered the baby, and now it has to readjust and bring your body back to the previous hormonal levels. So this is again going to come down. The progesterone that was increased, it is going to come down to normal levels slowly, of course. So you'll be having bleeding. You'll be obviously, if you have had a cesarean section, you'll have the pain of that stitches and the incision and so on. You won't be able to move. You won't be able to help your baby. Breastfeeding also, many a times women can't start it on the first day itself. So you get that guilt also, that why am I not able to feed my baby? Because we have been told that as a good mother, you should be feeding your baby as much as you can, and your baby should be healthy, and it should put on weight like magic. Does it really go that way? Let me tell you one thing: pregnancy has been hyped a lot in our culture. So it doesn't happen like it is shown in Bollywood movies. The baby is given in your arms and you cuddle it and you feel like this magical feeling inside you that you have been blessed with something. Of course, it's wonderful when you hold your baby for the first time in your hands. It's a wonderful moment. But at that moment, it's not necessary to feel it. I'm saying not necessary. You may feel it, I have no problem with that. Just that don't be overwhelmed if you don't. It is perfectly fine. It will come slowly. Maybe you're someone who reacts to even happiness a little cautiously. Maybe you're someone who gets more a sense of responsibility than a sense of excitement. So that is perfectly fine. Now, what happens next is pain, because yes, the baby is going to suck and it's going to be a little painful, and you'll have sore stitches, sore nipples, and everything. That's fine. We will somehow cope up with that, but you'll suddenly find yourself crying a lot, or crying on even the smallest thing. That's hormones. That's perfectly normal if you feel a little blue for first 3 4 days, because it is hormonal adjustment and you are facing this big challenge. I think this is where you have to really start focusing on your mind as well. Maybe lying in the hospital while you're nursing your baby, just listen to some music, spend time with your partner, tell him how you feel. The more you open up, the more you express your anxieties, your fears, the more assurance, reassurance you'll get, and you'll feel more supported and loved. If you still don't understand why this is happening, my suggestion is just to wait for 4 5 days. Take as much rest as possible because baby wakes up every 2 hours and it is not always possible to get a complete good night's sleep. So yes, accept that as a fact even beforehand, and whatever sleep you can get when the baby is sleeping, take adequate rest, take plenty of fluids, have some chocolates if you can, and spend time with your partner and share your feelings. Express what you feel in exact words. I feel like I won't be a good mother. That's okay to say that. Why am I not feeling excited about the baby? That is also okay to say that to your partner. Okay. Now, other after 4 5 days, let me tell you this phase of feeling blue, feeling down, that is called as postpartum blues. It's very much common. It's almost 30% common in Indian population, Indian women. Now, what happens after 4 5 days? Now, the first surge of hormones has started coming down. It's slowly resettling. So maybe you might feel a little more comfortable after 5 days. But for the bond to be prepared, for the attachment to form between you and your baby, it might take few months, 2 or 3 months. Just give it time. Let it be a natural process. Let it be organic. Don't try for it. Don't push yourself for it. That I have to love my baby. I have to constantly pick him up and keep him in my arms. Then only I'm a good mother. There is no fixed criteria for being a good mother. So just remember that whatsoever, howsoever you are no doubt the best mother possible for your baby. Having said that, after 5 days, some people, and the number is not that low here as well, it's as good as 13 to 14%. So let us say around 14 people, 14 women per 100, or it might go up to even 30 40%, that some of these women start feeling too low. They can't work, they can't do anything, they don't even feel like nursing the baby, they don't even feel like doing anything at all. And this is the time when one might start having some suicidal thoughts, that why did I do this, some regretful thoughts. And you might go through that dark phase when you don't even have the energy to get up from bed and do anything. This is what is called as postpartum depression. Now, this can happen from the moment you delivered to 6 months post delivery, or 2 3 months for any time basically. So, if this happens, and if you're having these intense thoughts wherein you can't improve your mood, you don't even feel like nursing your baby, and you feel suicidal, overwhelmed, you're crying a lot, you're not happy at all, this is the time when you have to seek help from a psychiatric professional. Just counseling, would it help or no, is a later question depending upon the severity of symptoms. But definitely, a psychiatrist can decide how to go about it, how to help you with that. So if your family members notice some of these symptoms, please consult a psychiatrist as early as possible. We have very good medications. Let me address some of the myths here about medicines. Those are not harmful, those are not addictive, they do not have any harmful effect on the baby. And still, for what could be a very rare possibility, we still give breastfeeding instructions, which actually are the directions to tell you how to and when to take the medicines when you're breastfeeding the baby. So do not make yourself suffer, because the initial days are very important. These are the days when the bond or the attachment with the baby is formed. And if you don't feel that attachment, then let us help you get there. Once you get there, we are all totally confident that you will do very good on your own. Now, coming to the other disorders. One is depression that I told you about. Postpartum blues I also told you about. You could also experience intense panic attacks. Like you might feel a little too much on edge. You might feel sweaty. You might have those palpitations, racing heart, and might feel like the world is coming to an end. And you might even feel like every single bad thing could happen to your baby. I mean, you read news in paper that some baby died of this or got injured of so and so, and you feel like, oh my god, is this going to happen to my baby? What can I do about it? And then you beat yourself up. You can hardly get any sleep because you're constantly worried. Sometimes the finances might worry you. Sometimes problems with your partner might worry you. Sometimes the family members' approach to your pregnancy might worry you. Sometimes the gender of baby. Whatever that is bothering you, that factor is not important. The point is how you feel about it. Can you handle it on your own? Do you think you can cope up with it on your own and go on with your routine work, handle your relationships, come out of it, or you feel overwhelmed, exasperated, and you think a little help will be better? If that is so, again, you'll have to consult some mental health professional. Let us guide you through. Don't have to give essentially medicines. There are even some exercises we can teach you to get over this anxiety, this feeling, and also we can speak to your partner, ask him to contribute to your emotional stability, ask him to express how strongly supportive he is of you, and I think you should be able to fare through this. Coming to the last part of it, you might sometimes feel like, the baby is not yours. The baby has been replaced by somebody else's baby, or some people are going to harm you. They are going to harm your baby. You don't even feel like hugging or cuddling the child, kissing the child, or nursing the child. This is what we call as postpartum psychosis. This is quite rare. This is a severe kind mental illness, but with a very good prognosis. Like it responds very nicely to the treatment. So when we start medicines, and medicines is the only way to go about it. Counseling won't help in this because the mind is believing in some things that are not real. So counseling won't be of much help. Medicines is the thing to go. We always keep baby and the mother together. We treat them in a hospital preferably so that the mother doesn't harm the baby. Chances of mother harming a baby in cases of postpartum psychosis is very low, because there is obviously some attachment, and actually the mother doesn't get that violent or that abusive towards the baby, but still we ask some relative to accompany the baby and the mother 24 hours, and that's it. We keep them together. We can treat them with medicines, or there are other ways to go with it. So this is what happens to your mind immediately after pregnancy, after delivery, and during pregnancy. I'm sure many of you can contribute a little more to the list of symptoms that I already told you about. I think there could be other experiences. I would like to hear about you, and if particularly those are inspirational, please share them, because I'm really looking for some inspirational stories, particularly in the COVID times. Now, about COVID and pregnancy, let me tell you that pregnant women do not have that significant risk of contracting COVID, and even the mortality or the fatality of COVID is said to be a little low in pregnancy for pregnant women and the baby both. So we are lucky on that front, at least till now. We never know about future, but let us go with that. In pregnancy, try to keep your mind a little on the easier side. So focus on positive things. Focus on making you more and more happy. Ask yourself how you can pamper yourself. So, going for a spa or going for a massage, obviously following the COVID safety protocols somehow with the safest person possible would be a good idea. Another thing is you can just include more a little exercise, some form of your favorite dishes, or short trips, or something of that sort, nature trips, whatever helps you. So I believe this will be good for your mind. It will kind of help you steer through the pregnancy on a happier note. Just chill. All I want to tell you is do not take that much of stress. It's just a pregnancy. Thousands of women before you have done that, and thousands of women, not thousands, millions and billions of them have done that, and they are going to do that after you as well. So you're just one of them. Do not be so scared. Ask your doubts. Do not be ashamed. It could be anything. How do I hold my baby? Or can I birth him this way or that way? Anything is fine. You're allowed to be as foolish and as emotional as you want to be because you're giving birth to a baby. The moment you feel overwhelmed, the moment you feel you can't handle it anymore on your own, let us take it from there and let us support you. That's all I want to tell you. A good thing, a good habit will be planning for things ahead. So planning for your labor, keeping a bag ready with you, keeping your list of people who are going to help you in case of emergencies ready, knowing which is the hospital you are going to go to, which is the doctor you are going to call, and how to go about it. It is better to have all these things planned right from the moment when you enter your last trimester. And do not worry, the last words that I'm going to tell you are that medical science is very much advanced. We have brought the maternal mortality rate so much low that it used to be somewhere in the 600s and now it's in hundreds. So we have progressed that much, we have evolved that much, that we have much better solutions to all of your problems. So let us just keep faith in ourselves, our ability to care for ourselves and our babies, because you're the one who have been caring for them for last 8 months, and you will do perfectly well in future as well. I hope this helps the mothers that are out there. In case anyone needs to reach me, uh, my number is 8830575891. You can also follow my Facebook page, which is Dr. Rachna Kaur, and you can also meet me at my clinic in person in Aurangabad. Thank you very much. That will be all for today's session.